Yes, team, welcome back to another episode of the High Performance Coach podcast. Today, I'm going to walk and talk you through the exact steps that I would take if I wanted to go from 0 to 5K a month reoccurring inside my coaching business. Now, this episode is not only applicable for coaches who are currently between those two revenue brackets, even if you're above and beyond $5,000 a month. The foundations are always going to win. The world-class basics are always going to be at the forefront of everything that you do. And of course, as you scale and grow, there needs to be shifts and changes to your operation systems, developments, marketing, lead generation, etc. But perfect example, I spent 6 hours over Christmas mapping out and realigning our niche, our message, who we're speaking to, how we're speaking to them, and what are the problems that they're currently facing going into 2025. Now, I've been in this game for 14 years. So the thought process of having to redo your niche and realign that and go back and do that work is almost like, well, you've already done that. But that's the beauty of it. The depth and detail that you can go into and the level of awareness and understanding that you have around the foundations are always going to be the biggest things that are now going to make the greatest impact. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to be able to go through, right, okay, I'm doing that, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. Is the level of intentionality there? Is the level of depth and understanding there? Because it can be easy just to tick a box. And not only that, as you grow, as your business grows, as your market grows and changes, and the environment and also the market externally is obviously going to shift, we have to make sure that we're always coming back to those foundations, and we have to make sure that everything is completely congruent and completely in alignment, because if not, you then just end up adding volume and stuff that's not going to really move the needle. So use this as a great opportunity to make sure that everything is in place so that you have the right platform to continue to ascend from. So to begin, we have to nail the foundations, which comes down to 3 simple things. Number 1, you've got to be able to own your story, who you are, why you do what you do, what's been the journey that you've been on, what was your call to adventure, what was the thing that's now helped you get to where you are and now has compelled you to want to be able to have the impact and help the people that you now help. The biggest differentiator in the marketplace is going to be you. Nobody is better at being you than you. And so often coaches can struggle with this because they're like, I'm boring. I've got nothing to say. I don't have anything exciting. I've not got like this big story that I've been through that's, catastrophic or is monumental in any way. It's just been pretty normal. I mean, perfect. That's the point. And it's just being able to then actually own what it actually is that you've experienced and being able to communicate in a way that allows people to understand you on an even greater and deeper level. And not only that, allows them to recognize and appreciate what are going to be the things that you've experienced or been through that they may have similarly been through that allows them to connect and radiate towards you. Being able to do this is absolutely huge, because otherwise you just get caught up in this information game. You're trying to outdo every other coach with what's all the stuff that I can now put out on the internet that just sounds exactly the same. We win hearts and minds through storytelling. And there's no greater story to tell than your own. And being able to begin and create your brand and your coaching business through your hero's journey is going to be one of the most integral things that you can do. Number 2, gaining clarity around who it actually is that you're speaking to. Now, there's a couple of things to consider here. If you're on the gym floor in comparison to online, it's going to be slightly different. On the gym floor, you have footfall. You have hundreds, if not thousands of members. And you have a whole host of people that you're being exposed to, that you can speak to, build relationships with. You're potentially doing classes, taking inductions, providing obviously certain one-off sessions, etc. It's easier for you to be able to develop and build a greater sense of relationship with those individuals because they're already there front-facing. And that comes down to your communication skills and your coaching skills. In the online world, knowing who you're speaking to is going to be absolutely essential. Now, so often people are like, but my niche and this and that. And it's like, it's not necessarily thinking about your niche. It's just understanding, who are my people? Who are my people? Who are the people that I feel connected to? Who are the people that I feel aligned to? What's the message that I want to put out based upon my values? What's the problem that I now want to solve? And why am I compelled to wanting to solve that problem? So being able to understand your market, their characteristics, their traits, their values, what they stand for, their list, their likes, their dislikes, their personality, etc. is going to be essential, which comes back down to you and your story. We do business with people that we like. We do business with people that we trust. So being able to gain clarity around who you're speaking to, the problems that they have, what's the outcomes they're looking for, what have they tried before, how do you do it? Is it easier, simple? Is it easier, faster, more enjoyable, more smoother? Is it bigger? That's going to be the cornerstone of being able to gain clarity around that. So when people are listening, reading, watching your content, they're like, man, that person's speaking exactly to me. That's exactly where I am. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what I've been through. That's exactly what I'm struggling with. Being able to do that is going to be the thing that will then also give you a greater sense of positioning, and allow you then to attract even more of the right types of people towards you, instead of then just trying to speak to everybody and then you end up speaking to nobody. Number 3 is knowing what you sell and how you sell it. So think about that for a second. Do I know exactly what it is that I sell? And then how do I sell it? Are you aware of your offer? Are you aware of what the problem to promise is? Are you aware of the solution that you provide? And is it conveyed and is it communicated in a way that's simple and easy for people to understand? And actually, is it a problem that the market have, not something that you think they might have or something that's potentially made up because we want to be different from everybody else? But actually, is it solving a core problem that our audience and our market has that you now know will help them get to where they want to be in a different way and through a new opportunity and a new mechanism to what they have done currently? If you need any support with the above 3, head to my profile, click the link in the description notes below, and download the business bundle. It's a mini series that will walk and talk you through every single step. And again, like, these are the foundations that can never be overlooked and will continually need to be iterated on. And the better you can be at these 3 pieces, the greater opportunity you then have to be able to grow more effortlessly and also seamlessly. Number 2, price point and model. In order to get to $5,000 a month reoccurring, we actually need to understand how many clients that is and what price point you're going to be charging. Now, at the beginning of your journey, I'm going to give you an example. When I first started out online coaching in 2014, I charged £59 a month. I worked with people for free prior to that to gain some results, build a bit of a foothold, and understand actually what I was even doing, because I was also working on the gym floor. And then initially I started off with 10 spaces, £59 a month, sold those straight away. And then off the back of that, I went to 79, 89, 109, 149, 197, 249, 297, and then grew and grew and grew and grew from there as my demand grew. As my skills got better, my experience enhanced, I got better quality results, I built my reputation, and I was getting more referrals than ever. So when you first start out, your price point needs to be something that you're genuinely confident with. There's always going to be a level of stretch and a level of, can I charge that? I still remember the first time somebody gave me 50 quid to write them a nutrition plan, and I was absolutely blown away. And I was like, oh my God, is somebody going to pay me £50 to write a plan for them when I've been doing that for years prior for absolutely free? And I didn't even realize that people would be willing to do that. So there's always going to be a level of like imposter initially, and that's okay. And there's a fine balance here between some people like you're undercharging, and there's other times where actually, do you know what? Coaches are charging way more than they should be based upon where they are currently. And that's going to come back down to you, your experience, your skill set, your results, your reputation, the amount of referrals that you're currently getting, and also understanding the market that you're currently serving and the model that you want to run. To keep this podcast episode simple, I'm going to talk through a one-to-one model, but there, of course, are group models, challenges, etc. that you can also look at. But real overarching principle is understanding, in order for me to get to $5,000 a month reoccurring, or $4,000 a month reoccurring, or $3,000, whatever it is that you're now looking at, how many clients do I now need based upon the current price point that I'm currently charging? As your confidence grows, as your demand grows, your price point will also now grow. But being able to get clear over that first and foremost gives you a target to work towards. So if it's going to be $149 a month, you roughly need 33 clients. If it's going to be £200 a month, you need 25 clients. If it's $249 a month, you're going to need 20 clients. Now, it's likely that you're going to have 10 clients that you're going to be that you first started working with, just like me, that was at obviously a lower price point, and then your price point then will continue to increase. You need to look at and understand your systems and model and how you're currently doing things. If I were to now work with 15, 20, 25, 30 people in the systems and in the structure that I am currently, can I facilitate that? Can I deliver the service that I now want to? The programming, the communication, all those pieces. How does that work? How does that now look? And not only that, it gives you clarity and allows you to reverse engineer how many clients you now need to gain. You then can understand how many clients am I losing on a monthly basis. And then you can look at actually how many people do I need to be getting onto calls or whatever mechanism you're now currently using to obviously get people into your program. And then how many people do I need to be converting? That's then going to be determining the quality of the content you need to be putting out, the amount of people that you now need to be speaking to, etc. that I'm going to come on to in a second. But your price point and model is really, really important, because Otherwise, you end up just charging lots of different price points. You end up either charging too much, not enough, your service is over-delivering or you're under-delivering, and it is going to be fuck about and find out, especially when you're at this level. But to keep it really, really simple, I would suggest that if you have the capacity to now be able to get the results for your clients, you're able to keep clients, and you're able to coach to a good level, you can charge anywhere from $149 to $297 per month, dependent upon the market that you're currently serving at this present moment in time. And that will obviously be dependent upon where you are at the moment, and that can obviously then be scaled up. So often at this level, you just need evidence, you just need proof, you just need confidence that you can now speak to people, you can get clients, you can coach clients, you can get results, they want to tell other people, and then you're able to build a level of system that helps you then coach in a more proficient manner without it then taking up every single moment of every single minute of every single day. Perfect example. When I first started out, those 10 people, it literally took me all week to do their programming and speak to them because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was having to figure it out. And then obviously as time grew and I went from 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, I was able then to be far more efficient because I knew exactly what I needed because of the experience and the skill set that I was able to develop. But I believe that's a nice price point to start off with. Now you've got the topic of, do I pay in full or do I just do it on a monthly? Simple answer to that is I would package your product based upon the outcome that you are going to say that you're going to get within the time frame that's going to be realistic. And then the way in which I would structure that is if they pay in full, they get 10% off the price point, or alternatively, they pay monthly. Really, really simple, really, really easy. If you pay in full, it's going to be X, and you'll also get, you'll get X% off. If not, it's a monthly price point of Y. Keeps it simple, doesn't have to be complicating, confusing, overwhelming. And what's better? It depends. It really, really, really comes back down to you, the current position that you're currently in. And I honestly believe having a blend of the both is the perfect model that you want to. But initially, it's about building the confidence and being able to build the level of sufficient revenue that is consistent, that gives you an engine from which you can build upon. If you're constantly having to look for new sales every single month and you're always starting at zero, whilst you've got that cash in bank, what I've seen and what I've experienced is a level of volatility because there's almost that clock starts again and there's that uncertainty and you're back to nothing. And then there's that pressure to now constantly be chasing new sales, which can then stop you from being able to communicate and coach and deliver value. And the coach who needs to sell the most is the one that usually loses. So being able to build that engine initially and being able to build that foundation can be one of the most powerful things that you can now do. Marketing and lead generation. Now, if you're offline in comparison to online, there are going to be slight changes. But the biggest thing that I say to every single person, we don't live in COVID anymore. And the greatest way to build your reputation and build your profile initially is through winning your local market. So many people are trying to win the internet. So many people are trying to go viral. So many people are trying to get more reach and more engagement and more views and more this and more that, instead of actually trying to win the people in the 5 to 10 mile radius of them. Great question. Am I the go-to in my local marketplace? How well known am I in my local marketplace? And I see this all the time. Even the coaches that are now having the biggest impact and the biggest influence are the ones that have been able to build a really, 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 really strong profile within their local market and have become the go-to from which everything else has then been built out from. I was exactly the same when I started out. I was on the gym floor for a number of years, working as a gym instructor, strength conditioning coach. I then moved into the online world and was still being a strength and conditioning coach and a couple other pieces. And I was able to build my first 20, 30 clients just through the people from the gym that I knew. That was the way in which I built that. And then as they started to get better results, they started to talk about me on social media or talk about me to their friends. I was then able to start to stretch further afield. I then built a really big contingency of clients in Preston. And then that started to then go expand and grow. And again, you just start to see these different pockets. So think about, how can I win my local market, and double down on the quality then of your messaging, your communication, and the results that you now get alongside that. And being able to do both of those things is going to be huge. So if you're in the online world, even still being able to think about, okay, where do my market hang out? Are there any kind of local clubs? How much time do you currently spend at the local gym? Where are you now putting yourself to give yourself the greatest opportunity to network? That might even be the playground with your kids, your kids' parents, etc. Or sorry, your kids' friends' parents. So recognizing and appreciating that being well known in the local community can be such a powerful piece for you. And then if you have a level of clarity around your marketing, your messaging, and your communication, the results that you get, and then you have a profile that people can see what it is that you now do and how you do it, that adds even more depth and that adds even more substance. So they get to know you, that then will ultimately search you or find you online, and then they're able to have the best of both worlds and they're able to see exactly what you do and how you do it. So a couple of questions. How much time are you currently spending away from your office and laptop at this present moment in time? You do not become a high performer by living within the four walls of your house and spending the entirety of your day on your laptop. Being able to go and put yourself in certain positions, places, and spaces where you become known is going to be absolutely essential. And that's going to be such a cornerstone of everything. Number two, your current clients are going to be everything. How are you currently turning up for them? What level of results are they currently getting? Have you given them enough of a reason to want to tell other people about you? And are you spending time with them? They want to support you. Even now, I do this and have always done this, but even in my early days, I would train with my clients, I would go for coffee with my clients, I would do events with my clients, and that would be so powerful because you build a level of relationship. You could also then document and talk about that on social media if they're happy to. And that then obviously means that they start to share it, which means that their followers start to see what it is that you're now doing. And again, you're building even more awareness. Your current clients want to be your greatest recommendations. They want to be people who want to tell other people. If you're doing a great job, it's no different if you go to a fantastic restaurant. You want to tell everybody else about that restaurant that you've been to, and that's the strongest referral that you can ever have. So how much time and energy am I putting into my current clients? How much time am I spending really building relationships with them and giving them the level of service that's now going to blow them away and is going to get them the result that they're looking for, which means that they then want to tell everybody else about what it is that you're currently doing. Number three, you don't need new content. You likely need better quality messaging. When you go onto your social media, is it clear what it is that you actually do, who you help, how you help them, and why you do what you do? Your social media platform is your shop window. It's going to be the first port of call, and it's going to be those first impressions, which are going to be absolutely everything. Is it simple and easy for people to understand what you do, how you do it, who you help, how you help them? And this doesn't mean you need landing pages and all these other pieces. You just need to have a shop window and a profile that communicates, conveys all of the above, and making sure that it's simple and easy for them to be able to understand. It's not confusing, it's not complex, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. The goal that you're always looking for with your marketing and with your messaging is, I feel like you've been speaking to me. You get it. I feel like you're inside my brain. That's what you're aiming for with your messaging. Not just putting up random social media posts that's just information that is exactly the same as everybody else, which is why knowing your market's problems, the challenges, their limitations, how they think, what keeps them up at night, what keeps them stuck, what they tried before, where are they right now, are going to be such powerful things, because if you can communicate that and then you can provide them with solutions to the problem, that's going to then position you as that person that's like, right, okay, this person understands me, they get me. That's going to be the foundation of which everything else is then going to be built upon. A piece that I didn't mention on the current client piece is how often and how regularly you're asking your clients if they know just one person who might benefit from this coaching experience. Sometimes there's a fear of wanting to do that, or it's like, oh, well, I sent that in an email, or I said that once before. It's something that I initially sent on day one, but they didn't refer anybody, so I've not asked them since. Hey, Joe, the work that you're currently doing is absolutely amazing. The progress that you're making is insane, and obviously the results speak for themselves. I'm always looking for people who are just like you, who are committed and want to finally finish Fat Loss Forever, break the dieting cycle so they can A, B, C, and D. You wouldn't happen to know just one person that might benefit from this type of service and this type of experience and is looking for results like this. No obligation, But if you would know anybody, then I'd massively appreciate it. Simple, easy. And you can tie that into just conversations with your clients when they're doing incredibly well, or you're going to give them a positive piece of feedback. Now, if you overcook this, you do this all the time, it gets annoying, people are going to not do it. And if you undercook it and you don't do it at all, people sometimes need to be told what to do. They don't know necessarily that you're looking for new clients. Again, that level of support is absolutely going to be there if you're doing things the right way. Creating lead magnets. I want you to think about your business and your marketing, your client acquisition, a bit like dating. Your social media profile is basically the first impressions. The dates are a bit like your lead magnets, and the chats and the conversations that you now have is the small talk that you have in between. Lead magnets are simply assets that you can give away for free that helps people now have a solution to a problem that they're currently stuck with. So thinking about what are some simple and easy problems that your market currently have. I suspect you have an abundance of documents, mini videos, or things that you've already recorded for clients that now already solve a specific problem that you could just now give away, that you could put into your content, that allows people the opportunity to be able to put their hand in the air to say, hey, that's me, that's what I need, that's what I'm currently struggling with, which allows you to give them an asset, give them something that's valuable, give them something that's now going to actually help them if they do it. And not only that, it allows you then to start a conversation. Now, you don't need to have these lead magnets behind like email capture, or it doesn't need to be complex initially. You literally need to have these saved in a Google Drive, unlisted on YouTube, Vimeo, etc., and can just be links that you have ready to rock and roll. When you're then speaking about content, I've just put together this free training or this free playbook or this free cheat sheet on exactly how you can eat out on the weekends, stay on track, feel guilt-free, and go into Monday without feeling as though that you're starting again, whatever. Would you like me to send it over to you? Tap the sticker, hit the poll, send me a message with. Off the back of that, that allows you to start conversations. Hey, Leanne, thank you so much for requesting the playbook, whatever it is. 2 seconds, let me go and grab it. Whilst I do that, how are you? How have you been getting on? Allows you then to be able to just open that initial conversation. And your goal is not to be able to take it from a conversation straight to a client. So many people rush this process of how can I basically give something away, start a conversation, how quickly can I get them to a call or can I get them to a client? That's not how that works. Relationships take time. It takes time to build trust. Some people are going to be ready to rock and roll. Some people are going to need a little bit more nurturing, and some people are going to go away for a year and they're going to come back. I had a guy who I had a conversation with 8 months ago who I sent a call link to, who never booked in for a call at that time, who then 3 days ago booked into that call using that link that I sent 8 months ago, and he literally signed up on Friday. So it's a realizing and appreciating that people aren't just going to, because they've watched a video or a training or downloaded a playbook or whatever it is, going to work with you straight away. All you're trying to do is further develop the relationship, the nurture process, and continue to now take people obviously on these journeys. So think about what are going to be the 1 to 3 biggest challenges that your clients face in the month of January. How can you now create something that's going to be simple and easy that you probably already have that you can now go and give away for free? And even if only a couple of people download it, tap the sticker, whatever, great. That's a couple more conversations that you can now go and have. And everything starts and ends with a conversation. The relationships that you're now building are going to be so integral. And you being a human being and not just somebody who's trying to sell people stuff and trying to get people into your coaching business is going to be key. Think about who you watch, who you follow, who you would buy from, why you would buy from them. It's probably because you're now connected and aligned to their values, who they are, and you find what it is that they do engaging. And that person is giving you enough of a reason to want to now be able to go and follow them. This is a journey that you're now taking people on. But if you don't have conversations, and also if you're not forthcoming and able to go and actually have conversations through fear of rejection, well, these people are already so incredibly skeptical, busy, and also scared for asking for help already, which means you opening the door just literally gives them the chance to walk through it if they so wish. And creating content that's going to be simple and easy, that's going to be engaging around fun, life, activities, hobbies, interests, TV programs, what you're currently doing on the weekend. sports, whatever. Like that stuff then is going to be the stuff that will be simple and easy. So don't be a robotic coach who just now puts out fitness content. Talk about your dog, talk about the family, talk about what you're doing, and actually build relationships and give people a reason to want to be able to engage and interact with you. It's going to be the normal stuff that's going to be the foundation, not necessarily here's 3 fat loss tips that will help you do A, B, and C. Most people aren't going to respond to that. They're going to respond to you walking the dog on the beach or eating a certain meal or going somewhere that is now going to make you more interesting and not just a carbon copy of just a coach who can now help you with fat loss. And final piece, one of the biggest challenges that I get often is, and we get often is, I don't have my audience on my platforms. Now, in order for you to now be able to find your people, you need to find you, which goes back to everything that I spoke about today. When you land on your page, is it clear over what you do, how you do what you do, who you help, and is it simple and easy for you to now be able to display and pull those types of people towards you? Because if not, these people are going to land on your page and they're not going to know, which means they're going to bugger off. So in order for you to find other people, they need to be able to find you. Off the back of that, what we've then got to look at is where are 1 to 3, 3 to 5 places that these people hang out. That could be in person. Who do they follow? Who do they watch? Who has your audience right now? How can you be of value to that individual so you can actually add value to their world and you can potentially collaborate in some way, shape, or form? That can be endless. That could be from hairdressers to beauticians to physiotherapists. That could be to local sports clubs. That could be to local cafes, restaurants. That could be to other coaches. It depends upon the market that you're now currently serving. But who has your audience and how can you access that audience? And that again starts with a conversation, being valuable, being a normal human being and developing relationships. And in order for you to be able to get value, you have to be able to give value. In order for you to get energy, you've got to be able to give energy. So what is it that you're now putting out? What is it that you're attracting? And as Ben Leader would say, be about it. Are you about what it is that you now really do? And are people excited about wanting to bring you into their world or are excited about wanting to get people to meet you, or because of the skill set that you now possess can bring you in that's going to add value to actually what it is that they're doing. If you can help them, they're going to be more likely to wanting to help you. So where are they? How can you start to access them? Or who do you know that can potentially give you access? And usually that's going to be through mutual connections. And then, of course, you need a plan. You can't just wing content. You can't just wing what it is that you're doing. There needs to be a bit of a structure and a strategy that you're now going to follow. And you also need to give people the opportunity to put their hand up. Hey, I've got some coaching space available. Hey, we're doing this thing this weekend. Do you want to join us? Hey, I've just put together this free thing. Would you like it? Being able to just open the door to get somebody to raise their hand is the first step that you're now looking for. The more that you are going to create more opportunities for people to walk through that door, the more likely they are to now say yes. It's just being okay with getting rejected, getting no's, feeling as though that you're coming across a little bit salesy, which you're not. It just feels that way because you probably can't even remember what you posted last week, let alone what somebody else has now posted. So it's getting out of your own way and being okay with now knowing that I'm doing this because I am of value. I can help people. I can change people's lives. And in order for people to access me, I need to give them an opportunity to do so. And if I don't, I'm doing them a disservice. If I'm not selling, I'm doing these people a disservice. And that's now not going to be fair on them because I know that I can help them with the challenges that they're currently struggling with. Okay, delivery and systems. I made this note before I recorded this episode. We have one coach that I work alongside who currently makes over 7 figures a year by themselves, and they have next to no systems whatsoever. No fancy lab, no fancy check-in process, no fancy app, no fancy whatever. Everything is incredibly simple, incredibly easy, and this individual now operates at that cadence and that level. Now, the reason I share that is because sometimes you think, oh, I need to provide more value. I need to give more this. I need a fancy lab. I need to make sure that I have this beautifully designed set of assets that I can now give away. Now, of course, being able to have a foundation of good quality product is going to be essential, which comes down to the coaching, and being able to have assets that are now going to look good, are going to be great. But above and beyond everything, it's going to come back down to you, the way in which you're communicating, the way in which you're conveying your message, and how you can now help this individual get to where it is that they want to go. So many people worry about, I need all these systems, I need all these processes, I need this lab, I need all these trainings, I need my app to look like this. You don't. It has to be simple, it has to be easy, and you don't need to show more value. You don't have to show these are all the things that you now get from being with me. Actually, what you want is simplicity. Yeah, there's always a way of stacking value, which then helps them see that they're getting more than what they're currently paying for. But ultimately, it comes back down to one thing, which is, do they connect with you? Can they get results with you? And can you now take them on a journey? And do they feel safe with you? That's going to be essential. So when you're thinking about systems, 0 to 5K, your goal is to literally get yourself busy, which means you need a payment processing system, Stripe. You need onboardings and email system, which is literally just like, hey, Joe, welcome to the High Performance Coach, which you can basically set up pretty simply off the back of a payment system, which is Zapier, which is some basic automations. You need something for programming, delivery. That could obviously just be a coaching app that you now have. And you just need a management and tracking system for client payments and also leads. And then you just need a communication and check-in and community channel if you feel as though that's necessary. But they're literally the most basic things that you now need. We do not need fancy things whatsoever, and you do not need to be spending fortunes on that stuff. When you get to 5, 6, 7, 8, 10K plus, depending upon the model that you're running, the biggest aspect then needs to be around operations systems and development in your delivery to improve the efficiency, because you're now busy. You've now got a lot of things to now manage. But right now, the goal is to keep it as simple and as easy as possible and not creating more mess and more noise and more stuff unnecessarily, and creating more overwhelm for your clients as well. I actually believe that the biggest system that needs to be worked on between the 0 and 5K per month mark is your own time, your own energy management, where you're spending time, where you're spending energy, and actually having more time growing capacity. You just need more experience. You need more time working with more people. You need more time communicating, programming, presenting feedback to people to understand what works, what doesn't work, what's needed, what's necessary, what's not needed, what's not necessary. And recognizing and appreciating that actually it's your own time efficiency and your own personal effectiveness is probably the biggest factor at the 0 to 5K mark in terms of knowing what to do, when to do it, how to do it, what are going to be the needle moving activities, and being able to learn through exposure and grow capacity by being able to tolerate and handle and work with more people. And then that's where the systems and everything else will then start to come into play. Final couple of pieces that I wanted to go through. Money and emotional management. Don't just get money and spend money. You want to build the behaviors and systems from the start. So even though you might right now be in a position, in a place where you're like, well, actually, Joe, I'm not accruing a lot of revenue, you still want to be able to get a structure set up where you can have a level of discipline where it's not like, oh, this is my money and I can just go and spend it. There's a difference between business money and your money. And it's recognizing and being able to budget, it's being able to track, it's being able to understand your numbers in terms of your expenses and outlays, it's being able to now know your numbers in terms of your revenue, your income and your profit, and being able to then look at, right, okay, how much money do I need to live life? How much money do I need to love life? How much money do I need for later life? And then am I now operating from a place of living well below my means and what's necessary initially? That creates space. That gives you opportunity. One of the greatest things I'm thankful for that I didn't necessarily know that I was doing at the time, was that I lived below my means and still live way below my means at this present moment in time. But I did that from day one, which meant that I always had a buffer. Actually, I tell a lie. There was one time that I didn't, and I blew 15K on a car, and it literally completely wiped me out, and it put me into a very, very difficult position, and it made me feel like a donkey on the edge for a long period of time, and I needed to go and get more clients and new clients, and that was the biggest lesson that I learned. And then after that, that was the time that I was like, I'm going to live below my means, and I had prior to that as well, and then got to a point where obviously that got the best of me, which was a great experience and something that I don't regret. But being able to create that buffer is going to be essential for you. If you don't have that buffer, then you don't have control, and you're always then constantly reactive. But knowing where and how much do I need to allocate for tax, being able to have these basic things in place from the get-go are going to be such great skills that stand you in such good stead moving forwards. What are your expectations on how long it'll actually now take to get to where you want to go? There's a big difference between getting there and also staying there. And your own emotional regulation here will determine your success, which is why living below your means and being able to build good financial management systems initially is going to be key, because then that will help you gain a level of awareness and a level of understanding. And most importantly, in this phase, and for every phase, is not getting too high with the highs or too low with the lows. And it's recognizing and realizing that you're going to do the reps and you're going to feel like nobody's listening. You're going to have clients that are going to leave. You're going to feel as though that it's not working. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to question what you're doing. You're going to second guess whether what you're doing is right. Is this now going to be a thing? Is this now possible? You're going to have bills and expenses, and there's going to be this pressure and this expectation that you're putting on yourself. Maybe others are putting on you as well. And there's this need to want to prove. And there's going to be all of this stuff that's going on because now for the first time you're running a coaching business, you're now responsible for cash, you're responsible for clients, and you're responsible for your own stuff. And that now brings a new level of uncharted territory and exposure that you've never seen before, never experienced before. So it's recognizing and realizing that the emotional regulation piece in terms of how you think, how you feel, and how you behave when things are good and when things are bad, in this stage, are going to be absolutely essential. But your actions are the only ground that you only ever stand on, and it doesn't get easier, you just get better. And so often there's going to be work that you do that you don't reap the rewards for straight away. But it's going to be the reps and how you show up for yourself every single day that's going to be the confidence and the competence that you gain that will give you the desire and belief to keep going. Final piece, key skills you need to develop. I believe at this level, you need three things above and beyond all else. Number one, communication. That's why I spoke about being on the gym floor, speaking to as many different people as possible, being able to be more interested than you are interesting. First, seeking to understand before you're understood, being able to empathize, listen, relay information in a simple way that makes people feel like, yeah, I get that, I understand that, is going to be so, so powerful. The communication skills that you now have and being able to deal with difficult conversations, conflict, challenge, clients leaving, clients having certain challenges in their own world, and now being able to communicate in a way that makes them feel safe is going to be absolutely essential. And also being able to get buy-in and trust, which comes back down to communication. Number two, being able to write and speak and being able to sell. Being able to write and speak, being able to get your message out to the world, again, essential. And then being able to sell as well. You need to be able to sell yourself. You need to be able to sell what it actually is that you do. And that comes down to a level of passion, a level of energy, and also a level of confidence and competence in actually what it is that you do and knowing exactly what you sell. You can have all of the scripts, you can have all of the frameworks in the world. The reality is you need to now have enough confidence and certainty, which you won't initially, in what it is that you do, how you can help somebody, and then how you position what it is that you do. That is going to give them a greater degree of safety to now be able to go and want to work with you. And if you need support on that, there's a full training inside that business bundle that I spoke about earlier on exactly how you can sell. And finally, you need to be able to coach. You need to be incredible at what you do. You need to develop your coaching skills and need to be able to get the results that you say that you do based upon the clients that you're currently working with. And it's about staying in your lane and being able to build your reputation there, not trying to get too far ahead and not trying to expose yourself because you want to be better than you are, but being able to know what's the problem that I solve, how do I solve it, how can I solve it in the simplest format possible. And the better you are at your coaching craft, the greater the foundation that's going to give you then moving forwards. I hope that's given you some clarity around some steps that you can now go and take. Understanding what are the foundations, understanding what's the price point and model, understanding what's my marketing and lead generation, what are my delivery and systems, and recognizing and appreciating that this is now going to be a journey. Getting to 5K a month reoccurring and staying there are going to be two completely different mechanisms. And also how one person does it is going to be completely different to how somebody else now does it based upon a whole host of different factors. The biggest thing is making sure that you're now doing it in a way that feels aligned, it feels stable, and it's now going to be consistent. And it's going to give you the platform to continue to develop. If you skip the steps, if you skip the reps, and if you skip the pieces, you might temporarily get ahead. You might have one good month. You might sell high ticket for a few clients, and then they leave, and then you're in a difficult position, and then you're stuck. This is about being able to build something that's got sustainability, longevity, and is going to now allow you to go on a journey. And that requires an incredible level of patience and emotional regulation and ability to now be more disciplined in these initial periods and to do the work in private that nobody else now sees and recognize at a point it is going to be lonely. And that's okay. And actually, sometimes that's a prerequisite of just now knowing that you're doing the right things. So I hope you found this episode powerful. If there's anybody that you think this would be beneficial to share this with, I'd massively appreciate any love and any support and passing it on to them so we can help continue to make the industry a stronger and better place. And until next time, I will love you and leave you, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.